Hey, everybody, welcome back to another edition of our Supremacy webinar series. We've been chatting with the audience over the last few minutes here, and there are some new names, some new chats over here. So welcome to all you new guys who have never attended one of our webinars before. We're glad to have you. Hopefully you'll learn some tips, some things, some tricks, the way we do things, the software and tools that we use to propel our business, to manage our sites, to make money from our sites, and all those kinds of good things. This webinar today, guys, we're going to be focusing on mainly Project Supremacy V3. As you can see on your screen right now, Herc has the app open, and we're going to be diving into that. He has some cool things he wants to show you. I don't think there's anything super new update-wise, but there's some new things in here that maybe some of you guys haven't been paying attention to or don't really know what the uses of those tools are. So that's kind of why we want to have these V3 webinars. This is actually the first one of 2019. So yay, we are getting back into the V3 trainings. We will be coming at you probably around once a month for about an hour to go over, V3, and, we can chit chat about anything you guys want to ask after we're done kind of presenting what we want to talk about for the day. Then we can just open it wide open to Q&A. So if you attend, then ask us anything, basically. Another thing is, as you'll notice, that we kind of have this in the USA afternoon. Could be morning or evening, wherever you're located in the world. I know we're kind of worldwide. It's always amazing to hear about all the countries people live in that are attending. But we're going to mix it up a little bit because we understand that not everybody is everyone has a schedule, and a certain particular time may never work out for you. And we feel that's maybe not fair all the time, so we're going to move it around a little bit. We may not start having some early morning, USA morning, like me and Herc will get up early, 8 o'clock. Well, we get up early anyway. I'm up at 6. He's up at probably around the same time. And but we haven't really done any morning webinars, but I think we're going to add some of those in, some afternoon webinars, and also some evening webinars. So we're going to kind of mix it up a little bit. But as always, the replays are always available. We're going to go over that in a little bit too and show you where you can always find all of our replays in one spot. We worked really hard at the end of 2018 to put together something called Supremacy Digital. I'm pretty sure that 75% of the audience right now that's listening to me have already heard of that, probably already a member. Those of you that aren't yet, we're going to highly encourage you to get on board with that. It's free thing, but it's also awesome. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then, like I said, maybe just dive into some Q&A for all you guys that are on here. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Herc. Herc, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
All right, you're coming in loud and clear for me, so I'm sure you're coming in loud and clear for everyone else as we were chatting earlier. All right, Herc, I will shut up and let you take it away.
All right, guys, I guess where I'm going to start this webinar is kind of what Todd was talking about, Supremacy Digital, and the reason why is because everybody should be in here. Earlier, before the webinar started, we were talking about Todd and I having so many software products now, and trying to hold training webinars for each of the software products. Plus we have new software that just got released and stuff, and so there's just a lot of webinars going on, and sometimes people start feeling a little bit overwhelmed or lost on what webinars they're even attending. Now we do our best to always the emails that you get and stuff to say what the webinars are for and stuff like that, so you guys should be reading and seeing what you're attending so you know what you're here for. But on supremacy.digital, this site was created because of that, because we have so many softwares. We needed one place where everybody could literally access everything in an easy, organized manner, whether you own that software or not. The page that I'm showing you right now, supremacy.digital/events, though, is our schedule of webinars, where you guys can always come and always see what's on what's being planned, what's coming. If you want to register for the webinars, you can. If you're on this webinar, you don't need to re-register. So for instance, our next Project Supremacy V3 training webinar is going to be March 14th. You can register here. If you're watching a replay, if you're on the webinar right now, you're already registered. You don't need to register again. And that goes for all the webinars, any webinar that you registered to that is on a recurring basis. So Project Supremacy V3 training webinar, for instance, you only need to register once. If you try and register again with the same name and email, nothing will happen. Anyways, you'll just feel better, knowing that you're registered. But this is a great place to come and see what's happening. You're always going to get notifications by email from GoToWebinar. It's going to come through as Supremacy webinars to your email, but the actual email on it is customer care at GoToWebinar. Those are going to be your updates. Then we'll also email you from our personal list to let you know that webinars are coming. And then we're also going to hit you with the chat, the messenger bot, to let you know that the webinars are coming. So we're trying to hit everyone from every angle, because you guys have to understand there's a lot of people on our lists and not everybody wants to get things the same way. So we do it all so that everybody gets everything they want. One guy actually kind of complained that he was getting too many emails from GoToWebinar. So one thing I'll say about that is, if you feel that way, you can unsubscribe from GoToWebinar notifications. It's at the bottom of your email from GoToWebinar, but don't unsubscribe from the Project Supremacy lists or the SerpTech lists or whatever those are on, because that's pretty important. So this is where you're going to be able to see all of our webinars. On the front page, you can sign up for free if you're not already a member. What Supremacy Digital is we're going to put all our free courses, all our free content. We're having a bunch of other guests come in and give free courses and content as well. So you can access a bunch of free training and stuff like that. So click on any button and a thing will pop up to invite you in for free. And then once you're a member, okay, you can go into the members area, and here's how you're going to access all the replays. So here's webinars, okay? And we have it organized into Supremacy webinars and guest webinars. I'll just focus on Supremacy webinars for today. So if you click on Supremacy webinars link, you can see these are going to be the replays for Supremacy Digital, which is the portal you're looking at. These are Project Supremacy V3 replays. These are SerpTech replays, and these are Keyword Supremacy replays. There's going to be a new one added to here called Pixel Scout for a new software that we have. You'll be able to watch replays there. As well as if you are a SerpTech owner or Project Supremacy V3 owner, we'll post the replays in the normal spots that you're used to as well anyways. But rest assured, we will email you and contact you when replays are up. But if you just want one easy place to remember it all, join up to Supremacy Digital. It is free, and all replays will go into here for every product, and that allows you to even if you're like, I saw someone asking what SerpTech, if you want to go check out what SerpTech is, you can go access those replays and see what those are about. The last thing I'll say about this is, and it's very, very handy. So you can see here we have the menu of all our replays, and then we have this kind of spreadsheet. The nice thing about this spreadsheet, guys, is if you are using, say, Project Supremacy V3 and you want to learn about a specific thing in V3 and you're not sure where to go, come in here, okay? And what you can do is this search box here, you could type in any keyword you want. So if it's something like Open Graph, okay, just type in Open Graph, and what this is going to do is bring up a list of YouTube URLs. So these are past webinars that we've had, where you can go, and if you click this link, I usually right click and open it in a new tab. It will actually take you to the point in the webinar where we're talking about this specific topic. Okay, so rather than having to watch 2 hours to get one tidbit of information, this keyword search will now allow you to find the exact point in the exact webinar where we're talking about that topic. So it becomes very, very helpful to you guys. No matter what you're looking for, keyword research, okay, open graph, schema, stars, anything. Type in any keyword and we'll take you right to that point in the webinar where you can watch it. And this goes for every webinar replay we have. Project Supremacy, SerpTech, we'll do it for Pixel Scout when that comes out. We'll do it for everything, okay? So the search function is hugely beneficial to you guys, because all these past webinars that we have contain so many good little trainings, but now you have a quick way to sort through it all. And this is the entire history of every webinar we've ever had in these folders. And once again, I'll give a shout out to Bob Perot, who's actually the guy behind creating these spreadsheets for us and uploading them so that you guys have access to search everything. So that's a little bit about where to find the webinars, how to be organized, how to stay free, or how to access them all for free and search them and stuff like that. So that's all I'll really talk about. If you're not a member of Supremacy Digital, once again, I'm going to post the link for you. It is free to join. Okay, there's the link in your chat box. Absolutely sign up for free to this. There's also this little make money link. I won't say anything about it, but I encourage you to go look at it because it's super, super unique. So back to V3, guys. The stuff that I want to cover in V3, the updates, basically since the last webinar, V3 has been running extremely stable. It is our core software. It's something that we've been working on for the longest. So it's no surprise that it's running very, very smoothly. Support is running smooth. Updates are running smooth. Software is running smooth. But some of the things that have been changing since our last webinar is, number one, we have a new thing on our websites. And I don't know if many of you have seen this, but do you see on this? This is my account, guys, by the way. I'm always going to share my account. I'm managing almost 200 websites in my account. But one of the new things you're seeing here is, do you see where it says Ahrefs and Majestic and it's over top of all the websites now? These are Ahref metrics for this particular website, and these are Majestic metrics for this particular website. So we hooked into the two APIs for those companies to be able to bring you guys metrics for your sites. Now you can use this. I primarily use it on my private blog network so that I can see the power of the domains that I'm using to link out to other money sites. But if you wanted to use it for money sites or whatever, you can. Okay. And let me ask you right now, give me a 1 if you knew about this, and give me a 2 if you had no idea that we integrated with Ahrefs and Majestic. I just want to kind of survey everybody. Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, so that's cool. So most people didn't know that we even did this. So if you guys know, give me a Y if you know what either Ahrefs or Majestic is, and an N if you have no idea what they are. Okay, so most of you know what it is. For the people that are saying no, basically they're just data aggregators that give you information about the backlinks leading into your site. And the reason that's important is if I want to know if, so Lollipop Lustkill here is a private blog, one of my private blog network sites that I use to build posts to link out to my other sites. But in order for me to know if it's a powerful site, I use tools like Ahrefs and Majestic to get backlink data so that I know what are the links that are coming into my site, how powerful are those links, and overall, how powerful is this site. Now, Ahrefs and Majestic subscriptions are freaking expensive, okay, if you want those that data. So I'll go to Ahrefs here. I'll go to Majestic over here. Okay, and these are two of the most popular ones. So if I go into where's pricing, okay, for Ahrefs, minimum $99 a month, right? And then Majestic pricing, minimum $49 a month. Super expensive tools, super useful tools, but super expensive tools. So what we did is we brought those APIs into Project Supremacy V3. And if you guys want to get access to them, log into your V3 account, go to the shop button up at the top, okay? And then down at the bottom, you see here Majestic credits and Ahref credits. You can buy credits for Majestic and Ahrefs starting at as little as $10 a month for 1,000 credits. And each credit, just for giving you a price per unit, we're charging 1 cent. So it's a far cheaper way to get the data from Majestic and Ahrefs than actually using Majestic and Ahrefs. Now, you're not going to get as much data as you would if you were, and I shouldn't say as much data, as you would as if you were using a full account, but you're going to get the data that most people that join Ahrefs or Majestic, the reason they're joining it is to get the backlink data and the anchor text data and the stuff like that. But with a full Ahrefs subscription, you get more features, but the stuff that we're pulling in is just the features that most people are worried about, and that's why we're able to sell it so much cheaper. So for starting at $10 a month, you can get Majestic and Ahrefs credits. If you want more, just choose the amount of credits that you want. It'll show you what the subscription is. If you want to save a bit, you can pay for it annually. So for instance, 1,000 credits per month is $102 per year for Ahrefs or Majestic, which is basically their monthly cost subscription. So if you guys want to integrate that with Project Supremacy V3, that's how you're going to be able to do it. And then in order to pull the credits onto your dashboard like this, what you're going to do is I'm going to find a site that doesn't have one, and I'll show you. So here, for instance, is a Serptech build, Bitcoin for sale online. All you'd have to do is go to manage website, okay? And then over here, there's a new tab called metrics, where there's 3 types of metrics that we can bring in: the basic metrics, the backlink metrics, and the anchor text metrics. So I'm going to just click this because this little green button will hide this so that you get a nice full screen view. So if I want the basic metrics on these sites, I'm going to just choose the thing I want. So basic metrics, I'm going to go retrieve metrics, okay? Choose whether I want Majestic or Ahrefs or both, okay? And then I'm going to click confirm, and it's going to cost me 1 credit to bring in the basic metrics for those sites. If I want the backlinks data, same thing. I click on the backlinks tab, I go retrieve backlinks. I want both. And then we also can hook into Majestic's fresh or historic index. So you have a choice of which one you want. With Ahrefs, it's the same thing. You can get the exact URL, the domain, the subdomain, or the prefix. I like the exact URL, and I like the fresh index. And then, so for backlinks, you can say, okay, I want at least 100 backlinks of data, or whatever you want. Typically, Majestic and Ahrefs are going to list your backlinks in order of power, the most powerful to the least powerful. So if you only want to see the most powerful shit, you can lay this back and not spend as many credits. So I'll say 50. It'll say, okay, well, this is the cost in credits, and then I click confirm, and now it's going to go out there and run those that data. And then the same thing for anchor text. Okay, I'm not going to go over it for everyone, but it's the same thing. Tell them what you want, and it'll go out there and get it for you. And then the end result, once you've done it, if I go back to dashboard or website, sorry, is 2 things. Okay, not just one thing. You're going to get a summary on your dashboard. Okay, on your website dashboard where it's showing you all the websites. You'll get a summary of your Ahref data and your Majestic SEO data. The same summary that Ahrefs and Majestic give you will be displayed here. Now, if you don't want to see it for some reason, you can go to actions and you can go to hide metrics, and it just takes them all away, and it gives you a little bit of a cleaner look, okay? But personally, I like seeing my metrics, so I show them, and you can also hide them for individual domains. So that's one place where you can see your metrics. The next one is if you go into manage website for a specific domain. So calling our top 50, I'm going to go into the manage website section, and then I'm going to go back to the metrics tab. Okay, since I've already run this one, and now we can see here's the basic metrics for Ahrefs, and here's the basic metrics for Majestic SEO. It'll give you all that same data that you're getting over there, only it'll give it to you right here in a dashboard for this particular site. And then backlinks, it'll show me what all my backlinks are, my domain rating, my URL rating, internal, external. It'll show me my anchor text so that I can click on it and go see stuff. Everything's live. And then as well as anchor texts, I can get an anchor text profile for any of my domains. Okay, so that was actually brought in, oh man, I don't know, a little while ago, a few months ago, but Todd and I were either so busy or so wrapped up in personal issues in our lives that we didn't do a good enough job of marketing it to people. So now that we're on the webinar, you guys know that it's absolutely there, and this is where you can get it in the shop. Okay, Majestic credits, Ahref credits. So that pretty much covers that. And David, let me see. So are the metrics and credit use only executed on demand, or are the automatic periodic runs on demand? And you can go and refresh data if you want to. The next thing I'll cover, that was a pretty nice update. It's a small update. And before I do that, let me go to Facebook, because I made a post about this actually in the Project Supremacy group. Let me go to the group. And if anyone's not in the group, you should join the group as well. So let me grab a link for you for that. So here's the group. Okay, so let me grab you guys a link for anyone that's not in the group. Here's the link to join the Project Supremacy group. Here's the post I made about right here, okay, about our PSv3 schema builder. And the reason I made this post is I'm in a lot of SEO groups and Facebook groups and shit like that. And I always see people posting like, what's the best schema builder for this or that? And typically, here's what people do. Right? They go to Google and they search it. Now, we haven't done a good enough job to get Project Supremacy v3 ranked, or we haven't done enough outreach and stuff like that. So nobody even knows, well, other than you guys, very few people know about Project Supremacy and whether it's a a decent schema builder or not. So I'm slowly as we're getting back into running our business and trying to get things back to normal. I'm going to start doing outreach, and I wanted to write this article just to kind of get my juices flowing about it. But I want to cover this with you guys with our schema builder, because literally, guys, a Project Supremacy V3 account right now for you guys is $37 a month on the cheap end, and you get unlimited access to our schema builder. Okay, and $37 a month for this schema builder alone is a crazy good value, and I'll tell you why. Because the next best schema builder that I know of is called Schema App. Okay, and let me show you what Schema App pricing is. One site. Give me the frickin' price. $30 per month for one site. Your subscription gives you unlimited building for as many sites as you want, because what you can do, and I'll show you this, is you can copy and paste the schema code onto any type of site you want, not just WordPress sites, but HTML sites, e-com sites, other builders like Wix or other Drupal or Magento or all those other website builders. You can do it. $100 per month for 10 sites. Okay, you're $37 a month for all the features you get, including the schema builder. So let me cover some of this. Why are we so good? Why do I personally think we're so good? Number one, it's easy to build schema. Okay, building schema in Project Supremacy V3 schema is as simple as this. When you first load up the schema, what type of schema do you want? Okay, I'm going to do a common one. You just start typing words. See how I just start typing and it starts showing you what properties are there. So local business. Let's build a local business schema. Let me load it up again. I load the local business schema, and what it does is it lists all, that's the type, okay, the schema type, local business. Now, these are all the properties available for local business, and to build them, it's as simple as filling in a form, right? And if something like this pops up, that means it's a nested schema, meaning you have to build additional property is its own schema type, but as a property of local business, it becomes a nested schema. So all you have to do is click the blue button. It will open up basically a new window with the exact same form. You fill in the properties that you want of this one, save it, and then it loads it into this one. Okay, let me close this. Okay, it'll load your schema into this one. It's as simple as filling in a form. Okay, number one. Number two, I'm going to move this screen over here so that I can be fast. Number two, sorry, I get my windows all. Okay. We have every type of schema. Now, this is probably one of the biggest ones, the fact that we have every type of schema. A lot of these tools, guys, go after the most popular stuff. And that's what we did with Project Supremacy version 2, is we went after the stuff that, when schema was new and we released that tool, people were only using certain types of schemas. But if you guys go to schema.org, okay, this is the official repository for schemas, okay, the official repository for schemas. This will show you every type of schema that is actually available. Now, most tools that when you do a Google search for, what are these schema builders, they have maybe 5–10% of the schemas, the popular ones that everyone likes using. But what we found when we were building V3 from V2 is certain people wanted certain things. And then we're like, man, people keep requesting different schemas, because as schema becomes more commonplace, as people learn more about schema, they're wanting more things. So we thought, let's get ahead of this. Let's get way out ahead of this. So what we did is we basically took every type of schema that was in schema.org and we put it into Project Supremacy V3. And this is a list of all schema properties up here, this box, that are available. Now, let me just do this quick scroll. Look at that. You literally could build any type of schema that is on schema.org. So that's number two. We have it all. Whereas other tools will just have a certain percentages and possibly charge you as much or more for less features. Okay. Number three, we do consistent updates for our schema, meaning every 30 days, guys, we're scanning schema.org for new schema properties. And if we find them, they go into the schema builder. You don't even have to do anything. You don't have to request anything of us. If there's something new, it gets pulled in automatically. Okay. Number three, error-free schema is simple. When you're building a schema, okay, we have a built-in check for it. So let me go to a website, and we're going to move it to a new place, and I'm going to cover that right now. But right now, you mean I don't have any websites? I got a ton of websites. I got booted. Hang on a sec. I waited too long to do something. So right now, let me show you the quick error check. Okay, so if I'm going to go to my website, I'm going to go to, I'll go to my website, Herc Magnus. Okay, I'm going to go over to the Manage Website section of this. I'm going to go into schemas. Okay, and this is where you assign a schema, and you can check that in the replays. Look for assigning schema to learn how to use this particular feature. But let's say, actually, let me grab a different one because there's nothing loaded on this page. Let me go look at what I got. I want to show you how to error check schema, and I'll show you 2 ways to do it actually. So I don't know, Asbestos Law Pro, a local business schema. This is always a good one. Okay, so here's the schema. So I'm going to open a new tab. So we're going to go to that site. And as you guys are seeing me work in this, maybe you're seeing shit that you've never seen before, so that's good. I know I work really fast, but that's because I know the tool so well, and hopefully someone that's seeing me do stuff they didn't know they could do is start picking up tips and seeing how fast everything is. So let's go back over to schemas for Asbestos Law Pro. Okay, there should be a homepage schema on there. So what this, I'll explain it as it's loading. What this is doing is basically loading the schemas for this particular website. So notice I'm in the management section of this particular website, Asbestos Law Pro. And up here, it preloads that site and every schema that it finds for that site. Now I can load other schemas, but this will automatically always default to like, what schemas have you built for this particular website? And there it is. Now I'm going to perform a validation for that schema. And what that's going to do is basically do the Google structured data test. So let's go look at that for a second. We'll compare the two. Okay, I don't know if you guys know what the structured data testing tool is. Let me close some windows here so we're staying organized. Okay, but here's our validation check. Okay, it tells me right now the review has no reviewed item specified, the image is required. Okay, and the red ones mean you must fix this. The yellow ones mean it's optional, but you should. Okay, that's what these are. So this perform validation function that's right here, we're actually in the process of also moving to over here. So if I go back to our schema builder, okay, and I load that same schema for asbestos. Okay, there it is. Okay, when you load this schema, we're also going to put that button right here, perform validation check. Okay, so you'll get the same thing. But the last place that you're going to be able to find it, let me grab this, or you'll be able to do it, is right here. And it's all the same thing. It's just built into a single tool for you. Okay, so I can put, if you guys don't know what the structured data testing tool is, this is a schema testing tool from Google themselves. Okay, so what that'll do is you can put in a URL, it will scan that website, see if it has any schema on it and tell you what's right or wrong with it. Okay, so there we go, local business. Notice these are the same errors that we got on our schema checker. So it's literally doing the same thing, okay, only it's just doing it inside the tool. So you have options. You can do it on the official structured data testing tool. You can do it inside of our tool in the website management, but we're also bringing this function right into here. So error-free schema is simple because all you have to know is what the errors are. So for instance, a value of the image is required for aggregate rating. So then you would just go back into your schema, right? And I would look at, there's our aggregate rating. I would load that particular one. And these are alphabetical, by the way, so they're easy to find. So I would look for image. Notice there's no image there. So all I do is have to add an image. So I can use a URL, click it, and add the URL, and boom, that error will now go away. So literally, it's telling me these are the things you must fix and where they are. So then all I have to do is take them one by one, go into my schema, add them, and these errors will go away. So it's super simple for you to get error-free schema. Okay. The next one, we have an external schema duplicator. Now this one's awesome. Okay, so if I go to Google and I type in something like SEO Edmonton, where I live, right? And I see the first listing here. So I'm going to take this guy's site. Andy Coupier is the #1 rated website for SEO in Edmonton. Now, check this out. Let's say I know that he has schema, or I was doing a search for Google and something tipped me off that he had schema. Maybe he had star ratings. He doesn't, but I know for this fact that he does have schema. But typically you'll see something like this, okay, star ratings, and that's a big tip off that there's schema on the site. or the image consoles or stuff like that. If you see results that have schema, or you know of websites that have built schema and you're like, ooh, I'm not very good at schema, but I know they're good at schema. I want their schema code, but I want it on my site. We have something called a schema duplicator, and it works like this. Up here at the top where it says duplicator, click the button, put in the URL of the place that you want to scan for schema, or if you know they have schema, you're going to give it a name. So let's just call it Coop Andy. Okay. And then you're going to say, where do you want to save this schema? I'll just put it in my miscellaneous folder. And then I'm going to click run duplicator. And what it does, look how fast it is. It says, we found these 4 types of schema on that URL. Do you want it to take them? And we're going to say, yes, I want them. So I click them and I click proceed. Actually, let's do this. Let me back up a step because I want this to be really organized. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to manage groups and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Okay. I'm going to add a new group. I'm going to call it .Andy. Okay, so because I want this schema that I'm grabbing to go into this folder. So I'll click OK. So now let's run the duplicator again. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to call it Andy, and then I'm going to put it in the group .Andy that I just created. So I'm going to run the duplicator. Found the schemas. I want all of the schema that he has on his homepage into that folder. Success. Okay, now what do I have? I have a folder tree view of the exact schemas that Andy created on his website. Okay, I know exactly what he has on his website, and look at this. All I have to do if I want that schema for mine is click on each of the schema entries that are in there because it shows you the nesting and everything. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is, because when we load a schema type, it has like 50 properties often. I'm only interested in the properties he used. I'm going to turn this button on, show my properties only. All he did for that particular schema is geo-coordinates, this and this. So all I would have to do is update them to mine. Update that, save it, go to the next one, postal address, load it, show only the properties that are being used, change this address info to mine, change this to mine, bam. Now what you have, okay, is his exact schema and his exact structure with your information that you can now put on your sites. So it's a schema cloning device, okay, to clone from any other URL. And it's super useful for people that really don't know, what type, this is the question we get all the time. What type of schema should I use here? What type of schema should I use there? My suggestion for you, if you have that question, is take a search in Google for something. Like if you have a page built and you want to know what type of schema you should use, do a search that you think would bring up your page, and maybe it will bring up your page, but do a search for it. Find other pages who are literally trying to rank for the exact same thing that you are, and see if they have schema and duplicate it and then put it on your site. And now you don't have to worry. Let other people handle the professional schema building if you want to do that, and you just can copy them using the schema duplicator. Okay. We have a quick view button, which is what I just showed you. Are available, and then only the schemas that you're using. Okay, it works on all types of sites. Here's why. Okay. Once you have a schema built, you can click this button right here, view JSON schema code, and it pops out the actual script JSON code. Okay, and you can do this, copy, and we're actually going to put a copy button here that does the same thing. But you can copy this code and now paste it anywhere you want, whether it be an HTML site, an ecom site, a Wix site, a Weebly site, Magento, Drupal, anything. Copy and paste it. You don't have to use Project Supremacy v3 to inject schema into WordPress if you don't want. If you just want to build schema and put it somewhere else, you can by clicking this button. It includes a Google Maps API. Okay, so if you go into your settings, okay, account settings, there's an API for Google Maps, and we show you how to get it in that settings. Then when you're building a schema called geo-coordinates, okay, so I'll load that type. Right here, if I go to map search, okay, and I can put in any address, and then I search for it, okay, see how it recentered on Houston, and it also gave me the latitude and longitude. I'm going to click on use current lat and long, okay, and now I'm going to look at lat and long entries, and they'll be in there. except I have to save the schema and build it. And then, but it automatically inserts the correct latitude and longitude for you. Okay, so Maps API is built in. Keeps your schemas organized right here down on the bottom. So let me move this up. Okay, these are all the folders that I have. So by default, if you're using V3 and you upload a website, it'll build a folder for that specific website. But you can also use the manage group function to build other folders. So you see I have Andy, project, test, miscellaneous. Keeps all your schemas organized and in folders so that as you're building out, if you build a lot of schema for a lot of your own sites, a lot of your client sites, it keeps everything organized, okay? You can easily move schemas. So the one I just built for Andy, for instance, let's say, okay, I saved it in this Andy folder, but now I want to move it to a live site, okay? All I have to do is load the schema, and then up here in the top, okay, this is the name of the schema. But if I want to move it, say, into another URL or another MIS folder, all I have to do is select the folder and click Save. And it will be removed from the Andy folder and it will be transferred to the other folder. So it's easy to move schemas. You can copy and paste schemas. Now, if you have a schema that you really like say it's like a default schema setting that you always use and you want to like copy it and move it somewhere else, if you right click on the schema, number one, you can duplicate it, right? So now if I open up the Andy folder, this is an exact copy of this schema. So now what I can do is if you have the same schema you like to use everywhere, make a copy of it, go in, make the necessary changes that you want to make, right? Then rename it, move it to where you want it to go. So it's easy to duplicate your schemas, copy them, and move them wherever you want to go. Super, super easy to do. And then the last thing is we have WordPress injection for schemas. If you're using V3, it's super simple to assign schemas. Once they're built in the builder, you would just choose a site. Let's go back to asbestos. It's a good working example. Okay, so then you would choose the site. And to assign the schema, you go to the schema tab. Okay, and it'll say, here's the schemas that you've built for this URL. This side is, here's the schemas that you currently have assigned or not. So for instance, it'll look like this. If you don't have any schema, to assign the schema that you built, click the button. That schema is now on the home page, right? If you want to put it on a specific post or page, okay, select where you want it to go, choose browse posts, okay? Then you can select the specific page that you want. It'll load that page now. And you can say, okay, put that schema on that page. Oops, I didn't click the right button there. So assigning it in WordPress is super, super easy. So to kind of circle all the way around back to my point, this schema builder, guys, is super badass. Okay, and this is what I was reading off of. And we're going to start doing marketing. When people are out there, what's the best schema builder? What's the best schema builder? Personally, I truly believe Todd and I have built the absolute best schema builder there is on the market for all the reasons that I just covered. And the fact that you guys have it for $37 a month is unbelievable, because the next best one out there is Schema App. Doesn't have a lot of the features that we have and charges like 2 or 3 times as much, and that's all they do. Your $37 a month also gives you WordPress management, backups, rank tracking, Ahrefs, Majestic, shit like that. So I just want to point that all out to you guys. Okay, so I see a couple questions in here. David, so are all the metrics and credits? Okay, you already asked that. Bridget, you're a member of hundreds. Sorry, my eyeballs are bugging out on me right here. On hundreds of groups, and you find it impossible to keep. Yeah, it's hard to do that. Do you add schema to each page or to each website? Okay, so you know what? Let's do this, guys. That's kind of the things I really wanted to cover about updates. The UI updates to the schema builder were basically, we're going to, number one, this was one update. We added this button over here. It was moved. We reassigned it. This used to be just a little tick box, and if you didn't know what it was for, you probably would have never seen it. So we made it big and bold so that you can see, like, man, let me just see what I'm actually working on. Let me see all the properties I have available to me. This was improved. This was improved. And the next thing, we're going to add the error checking button to this as well, so that when you build a schema, you can check the errors right from here rather than having to go into the website to check them. And then the last one is we're going to add a copy button right here. I mean, it's easy to copy. You just use your mouse and go like this, copy. But we like making things one click simple, so we'll add a copy button. So those are kind of some of the upgrades: the Ahrefs, the Majestic data upgrades, the store, and then the schema UI improvements. And there's more stuff coming down the pipe. So now that I'm kind of done all that, I'll move into the questions, starting with this one from Bridget. Do you add schema to each page or just one per website? So it depends on the page. And so kind of the way to think about schema is like this. Before schema came along, the way to tell Google what a page was about, and that included the homepage of your website. The homepage was kind of like the general topic of your site, whereas each page was more sub-specific topics. The way that you would tell Google what each of those things were about is through on-page optimization. The title of your site, the URL of your site, the H1 tags of your site, the meta description of your site, right? That's what we did as SEOs, is we did on-page optimization. And if you go to Google, do a search for everything, anything, right? So there's a nice big YouTube video. There's a schema, star ratings, but the title, the URL, the description, and then on the page itself, the H1s and stuff like that. That's SEO optimization. But when schema came along, the schema was like a JavaScript code that Google could use to read things and organize things a lot faster and a lot more efficiently, because with schema, you can go further than just what your website's about, but you can do things like same as markup, for instance, which tells you, you can supply a URL under same as markup. I think I actually have some, and say, this page is also related to this Facebook page and this Twitter page. And then there's things like product ontology, where it's like, okay, this topic that I'm talking about, like if you had a page about, how to fix broken braces, I don't know, just off the top of my head, you could do a product ontology link linking to a Wikipedia page or a product ontology page about braces. And you could just do more and expand a little further with schema. So to answer your question, Bridget, do you add it to each page or do you add it to just the home page? You kind of have to look at each individual entry and say, is there a markup that's appropriate and relevant to this that I can add? So for instance, like on I have a site about Bitcoin. I'm not going to go there. I'll just talk about it. The home page, the schema that I added to the home page was basically, it's called brand schema. Okay, and you can get a description, by the way, for each schema if you click on it and you open it, and right here it'll say what the schema is and then a description of what it's used for. A brand is a name used by an organization or business person for labeling a product or a group or something similar. So on how to make money with Bitcoin, that was a brand. So I added brand schema to the homepage. So here we go. Okay, so there's my brand schema. Right? Aggregate rating, which I love. That's what gets you the stars. The description, logo, name, same as URL. Simple little schema, right? And that's just the home page that I did that for. But then on that site, I got into other types where I was like reviewing specific products. So on a page, I would review these companies. Now, don't go join any of these companies or anything. I've gotten rid of this shit. But if I was reviewing a company, for instance, I would do an aggregate rating, or I would do a product schema on that particular product review page of the company, right? Product, and then one of the nested schemas of the product is once again aggregate rating. And what I'm saying is I'm doing a rating of the product. That's why you're seeing a nested schema. And then there was other posts where I would do articles. Okay, so I would just write articles about buying Bitcoin or what's an ICO and shit like that. And I would do something and I'd be like, okay, well, this is a blog post. It's an article, so I'm going to do an article schema for that one, right? So schema is kind of like being an artist. There's good artists, there's bad artists. With practice, you get better. With knowledge, you understand more. So with schema, it's just about, trying to build the relevant thing for the page that you're on. And like contact us pages, privacy policy pages, terms of service pages, there's literally no business for schema to be on those pages. But if you're writing a blog post, then just come in here. What I would do is just do a keyword for the thing that you're doing. Like, if it's a blog, well, I could put blog schema on a blog. If it's a blog post, I could put blog posting schema on it, or maybe I'm writing an article. Well, I type in the word article, and if I spell it right, it'll show up. Okay, well, there's an article, a news article, scholarly, a tech article. one of the best things you can do if you're looking at a page and saying like, I want to add schema to this is like, okay, number one, what is the page about? Number two, come over to the list up here to all the possible schemas that you can possibly put on there and just start typing in your keyword. If it's a review, type in the word review and see what comes up. A claim review, a review action. There's aggregate ratings, right? And then just start building that schema. Does that kind of answer your question, Bridget? There's no absolute answer for you. Schema is as subjective as on-page optimization. You know, what's the best way to do on-page optimization? Well, it depends on the keywords. It depends on your competitors. It's kind of an art, right? But those are some helpful tips. The other thing you can do is go to schema.org and just start digging around in there. So that just to give you another way to do things. Number one, do keyword research right in here to see what's available. Let me just type in car even. Okay, if you have a page about cars, you can do car schema, like, you know, anything. And then number two, go to schema.org. Sorry for typing wrong. and do the same thing. See what's out there, and then just start reading about it. Okay, it's a thing, product, vehicle. These are all schema types. This is car is a nested type of vehicle, which is a nested product, which is part of thing schema. And if you want to see examples, and I use these a lot, guys, when I'm building schema, down here, if you go to JSON LD, you can see examples. And the thing I like about it, without markup, they're kind of showing you almost in an HTML format what it is that they're building. And I think, yeah, I'm on car schema, right? So here's an example of car of the HTML entry that's actually on your page. But if you want to mark this sort of thing up, here's what it would look like in JSON LD. So what you can do if you want to build this is go build car schema and then just kind of follow along with their examples, right? So, and I use it a lot to build schema. I go down to the bottom of each schema.org entry and look at their examples and just get ideas. And trust me, when I say knowledge and experience helps you be a better schema builder, this is what I mean. This is how I'm gaining personally my knowledge of schema, is just researching the official repository for schema and seeing what things are. Look at this, number of doors on a car, number of axles. There's just so many properties and so many things that you can do. Okay, good. Glad to hear that. Bridget says very helpful. Gainer, for a local business, should homepage have schema for business name, brand, or service type keyword? And can you do both for homepage? Once again, this is going to be okay. Well, let me put it to you like this. I'm not a schema pro. What I'm good at is software development now and UIs and shit like that. And giving you the tools to be able to do what you need to do. But that doesn't mean I'm proficient at telling you what the right thing to do with the tool is. Put it in another way, I know how to build a calculator, but I'm not great at math. You know what I mean? I'm decent at schema because I've gone through this stuff, but the best way for you to answer your question is to go look at other sites, see what they're doing. Personally, when I'm building a local business, I use local business. And I always say it like this. Here's another thing that might be helpful. With schema, I start at the most specific thing. And then if it's not available to me, I work backwards into a more general thing. So Gainer, give me an example like of a site. What type of business is this local business that you want to build schema for? And I'll show you what I would do. So just type in what type of business it is. Okay, so a medical spa. So here's where I would start. Spa. So a day spa, that's not really right, you know? So then I would go medical organization. Now, this is where you have to make a decision. So we can open up medical organization. Medical organization, physical or not, such as a hospital, institution, or a clinic. Does that fit the description in your standards of what it is that you're trying to put out there? If yes, go ahead and build it. If no, work backwards, okay? So if you want to know an easy way to work backwards, we can take medical organization or whatever one you felt was closer, okay, to the description that you're trying to go after. Maybe it was day spa, I don't know. But take that description, well, I'll do both. Go put it in schema.org and see how they work backwards. So a day spa is part of a health and beauty business, which is a part of a local business. Sorry, I shouldn't say it's the most specific thing they have is a day spa. The next most general topic is a health and beauty business. The next most general topic is a local business. The next most general topic is an organization. Do you see where I'm getting at, Gainer? So start very specific over here. If you're not sure if it meets your criteria, take it over here to schema.org. They'll literally tell you what each of those things, how the hierarchy of those things works, and find the one that is most specific to your scenario. If you end up at day spa, great, super specific. If that's because it's a medical spa for you, maybe that's not quite right. You go to health and beauty, click on that one, right? And then actually you want to take the search into the search box because that's where they show you the hierarchy. If that one works for you, great. If not, keep working backwards until you get to the one that you're like happy with, and then build that one. So it might be local business. And that's, to me, I always search for the exact same thing first, but I'll tell you, like, a lot of the time you'll end up on local business. Okay. And then the other part is service types and keywords. How much can you add? I think the properties of the thing, so say local business, is where you start getting to expand on it. And you can do that over here. Okay, so let's load up local business. You can just start searching through it. Like as I'm building schema, I basically read the thing, and I should use the correct terminology here. This is always going to be your schema type. These are going to be the properties available of the type. So local business type, about property, acquired from is a property. An action option is a property of local business. Some properties apply to more than one schema type, but the nice thing about this is the main schema type, and it will list all the properties that you could or should use with that type. So then, to answer your question, services offered, is that something that needs to be a parent schema, or can you nest it in? So then, because this is alphabetical, you can scroll that way, or you can use Control F on your browser and type in services. Okay, and there's a make offer. There's 5 of them that I found on the page. So let's go through them. Seek, seller, service operator. So there's nothing as far as services offered in there. So if you want to add an additional schema that's not a part of local business on that page, you can. Offer catalog, right? Services offered. Then that's where, because it's not a nested schema, yes, you could build a second property, still assign it to that page, right? And you'll end up with kind of, when I was at the Google structured data testing tool, which I use a lot when I want to see things differently. This is a good example of a site that has more than one property that aren't nested. Andy Cooper, I think it was .com. Sorry, let me close some windows here, guys. I get lost. We'll go to Google and grab his URL. Okay, so I'm going to grab this guy's URL. I'm going to put it in Google Structured Data Testing Tool. Hey, man. New test. What is going on? There we go. Okay. What is going on? Is my internet connection down? You guys still hear me? Just give me a yes if you can still hear me.
You're fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the other day I got spooked because my internet just dropped all of a sudden. Thank you, guys. I'm just working too fast, probably. Slow down. There we go. Man, I really do speed up when I get into this shit, eh? Just realizing that about myself. Hopefully you guys are like, what? What the frick are you talking about? Okay, but here's an example, okay? So this guy, it kind of goes all the way back to your question, Gator. Can I have multiple properties on a single page? Yes, you can. Hey, I don't know how to say this. H-entry, that's typically from a theme, okay? It's just kind of ignore that. But organization, local business, website, and place. These are the 4 schema properties that this guy wanted to put on his website, and none of them are nested. The funny thing I actually find about this one is that local business is a more specific type of an organization, but he has both. I wouldn't recommend that. but he seems to be doing pretty good in his rankings for keywords. So maybe you do want to follow it. Like I said, it's an art, not a science, right? And artists do things differently. Everybody paints a different picture, and so can you. But here's an example of a site with 4 main properties on a homepage. So Google Structured Data Testing Tool is a great place to really look at schemas that other people are building and the properties that they have. And then if you like what's going on, using our duplicator tool will allow you to grab everything they got and bring it over to V3. Does that help, Gainer? Take a drink of water here real quick. Okay, awesome. You know what, guys? There's no other questions. Anybody else got any questions about anything they've seen? And it could be question about anything in V3. Like if you're seeing shit that I've done that you didn't know was there, plugin side of V3 or the app side of V3. Can you duplicate in V2? No. Honestly, Wolfgang, V2 is just, I mean, I hate to say it because we built it and we loved it. It's just, there's no comparison at all between V2 and V3. V2 was like, V2 in our understanding of the schema, V2 is a parallel product to our understanding of schema at the time that we released it, put it that way. And now, the other thing I'll say about V2, some people freaking love it. Some people are just so diehard V2 fans, and maybe because that's like they paid for it and there's no recurring payments on it, and they just don't want to leave. But we're no longer developing V2 any further. We're supporting it, keeping it working, but we're not developing it any further. But if you want to get serious about everything, V3 is such a great value. It's such a better tool than V2. I mean, WordPress management, the schema builder is like heads and tails above V2. WordPress backups, rank tracking, the project planner in V2 or in V3 is so much better. It's just crazy. Thanks, Philip. He says we're all just in awe of your progress with V3. Awesome, Craig. Thank you. Is there anybody that owns V2 and not V3 on this webinar, by the way? You do own V2, but you don't own V3? Just give me a yes if that's you. What's it going to take, Wolfgang? How much better of a product do we have to build for V2? I know that like the shitty thing for guys like you that own V2, they're like, we sold it as a one-time cost, and people are like, I don't have to pay anything else. I got a product I like that I don't have to pay anything else. But the reason V3 is a recurring monthly subscription, whereas V2 was a one-time subscription, is V3 hooks into so many APIs and stuff like that. Like the data that we're pulling from Ahrefs, Majestic, the data that the project planner, which hooks directly into Google AdWords through Todd's API, the competition research where we're grabbing the shit from Google. Like let me just show you an example. We'll go right into V3, the plugin side of Project Supremacy V3, which for you V2 users, you probably, like for V2, you don't have a dashboard. Like you can't control everything in all your sites from a single place. That's the biggest part of V3 that's changed, is it's now a WordPress management tool, but we still built all the V2 features into V3. We just improved the shit out of them, every single one of them. Like literally V3 was rebuilt from what we learned in V2 from the ground up. It's a whole new code base. Nothing was taken from V2. We just redid it. And that's why it took so damn long to build it like that. So let me log in here. Okay, Crossbox. Fire hydrants. Is it me yet? Yes, okay, now I can log in. Oh shit, I used the wrong one again, I think. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, so here's the plugin for that you'll see in V3. And I forget what I was talking about, but Project Supremacy. Oh yeah, why it's a monthly subscription. So the project planner, for instance, you can see my blah 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 front end plan. So like pulling in the volume and the CPCs through the AdWords API, pulling in the competition metrics for each keyword, okay, the broad, the phrase, the entitle, and the URLs through an API, pulling in the Ahrefs and Majestic data through an API, being a rank tracker. By the way, this is tracking the rankings as well in the project planner, but on the dashboard, you have a rank tracker built in. That's pulled in through an API. So V3 basically is hooked up to all these external services to bring all this data from all these other services that a lot of people use. Like I used to use all these services, but I would have a login for each one of them, and I'd have to go to this site, to that site, to this site, to that site to work on something that was existed in one place. Whereas now I can work in one place for multiple services and products and get things done in one place for everything that I got, which is really the power of V3. It's you can do everything from one spot. And the reason it's a monthly cost is because those all cost us money. It cost me and Todd money to get all that shit. Number one, to get it built is frick, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we're into V3 for, but to get it built costs money. But then to bring all this stuff in costs us money every single month. And that's why V3 costs you money every single month. But the value, so like I'm kind of speaking to you, Wolfgang, right now. It's like we're trying to convince V2 users to let go of V2, even though you love it, because there's something so much better now, and the value is still so insanely good. That $37 a month for all of this stuff I mean, like I said, Ahrefs alone is 99 bucks. Majestic is 59 bucks. Schema app, call it 50 bucks a month. So that's what, 200 already a month we're at there. Pro rank trackers like 30 a month. Shit, there's so many backups, plugins, or all these. You start adding up all these monthly costs for all these things. And we've done it before on other webinars. I think it was like over $500 a month to get them to piece it out and go buy it elsewhere, but you're getting it for 37 bucks a month. It's such an incredibly good value, and it's such an incredibly good software. I just think it's nutty for people to know that it's there and not grab it. I don't know. I'm biased, of course. Bridget says worth every penny. Yeah, it really is. Alexander, so I noticed that PSv3 does not always fetch all the plugins which need to be updated. I only see some plugins that need update when I'm in this. Can you guys fix this somehow? So let me give you an example of that, because I've seen the same thing. The only plugins that V3 can update are plugins that are updated through the WordPress repository. Okay, so for instance, if I go to, let me tag a site here. Let's go to Supremacy websites. I only want to look at our Supremacy website, so the shit you guys are used to see. SerpTech, Project Supremacy. Yes, I run all these on V3. Let's go to this one, and I'm going to go to the Manage website for Project Supremacy V3, the site that we're actually on right now. And I go to plugins. So notice there is Thrive Themes, for instance. So there's Thrive Architect, Thrive Leads. Thrive is a private, set of plugins. They're not run on the WordPress repository. They push their updates out through their own update server. We cannot connect to those. And so if there's an update available for Thrive Leads or Thrive Architect or whatever, we can't see it in the V3 dashboard because it's coming from private. Well, we'll see if there's an update sometimes, but we can't. No, we won't. Sorry, let me make sure I'm correct about this. We won't see the update here. We will see it when we're logged into WordPress because they're pushing it directly to your WordPress site. So we won't see it here, and we won't be able to update it here. If the plugin is from WordPress, then we will be able to see it. We will be able to update it. Same goes for Aveda themes, like private shit with private update servers. We just can't do anything about it. Does that make sense, Alex? Yeah, and SerpTech's another example of it. SerpTech's server is a private update server. Although, to be fair, we should, because we own the product, be able to build that in, and we probably will. But yeah, if it's a private plugin, there's nothing we can do about that. You just kind of have to log into the website the old way, or use this button, direct admin login, super fast way to log into your WordPress sites. As I'm here, did you guys know that for your websites, you can supply your cPanel details and save them here? And then if you do, kind of back to feature updates and shit like that, you have the ability. So once your sites are hooked up, you obviously have the ability to go in and manage your website from Project Supremacy. But if you want a quick access to your WordPress, you have one button direct login admin access. So I can log into Lollipop Lustkill's WordPress site with one click. I don't have to remember the passwords and shit anymore. Although keep a backup of your passwords, just be safe. But if you add the cPanel details, I'll try and find a site. It'll also give you one-click login to your cPanel. There's one. So here's one-click login to WordPress. Here's one-click login to my cPanel. Here's one-click login to my hosting account. One-click login to my registrar account. Did you guys know about that? Another hidden nugget. This is the challenge of V3, guys. There's so many small little things and features that we've built into it that on the sales page if we've done this, we've listed them all out, and then people just start like, they throw up their hands and they're overwhelmed. It's like, it's too much. Just show me one thing. I'll decide if I want to buy it based on one thing. But then once they buy it and we show it to them, we're like, that's fucking amazing. We love this shit. And it's just funny, the psychology of people, because you can't tell them all these features if you're trying to sell it to them, because they'll get mind boggled and not buy it, which is crazy to me. We literally have to like sell the schema builder on its own for $37 a month. And then they'll be like, wow, that's an amazing schema builder. I love it. I'm buying it. And then they get in and it's like, well, you also got access to all this. And then their mind is blown. But if you try to do that all at once, they don't do it, which is crazy. So anyways, WordPress is automatic. cPanel one-click access if you want it. You have to go into the WordPress management of that particular site. Well, I better not do that here. And then supply the details. Actually, I think I have them hidden now for screen sharing. And then your cPanel one-click access will show up. The way I'm getting my host and registrar one-click access. So let me do something like this. Let me do show me all my PBNs, for instance. So I'll click this tag, and now only my PBNs are showing. So you can see I'm filtering out just PBNs. I'm showing 116 of 198 because I've tagged them as PBNs. So the way I can access my host and my registrar is when I set up a tag for a site. So I go to manage tags. When I create a new tag, okay, so right here, I always make blue tags hosting, I make green tags registrar, and I make orange tags the type of site that it is. And this is just the way I do it. When you guys create tags, you can create any type of tag you want, color coordinate them however you want. But the way I do it, I find it very, very simple, is the orange one is the type of site, the blue one is where it's hosted, the green one is where it's registered. And so when you create a tag, you can actually assign a URL, like right here, so that the tag becomes clickable, right? So like, for instance, host budget, if we look at that, it's the URL is this. I go and grab the login specifically to that site, and I supply it as a URL so that it's a clickable tag. So now Lollipop Lustkill, if there's a problem with it, for instance, like if I look at my notifications, like Lollipop Lustkill is down, I could be like, okay, I got to go to IP network. So I'll just click this and it'll take me right to the login screen for IP networks. Or if it's a hosting issue, I'll click on Phoenix. It'll take me right to Phoenix. And that's just a little tagging trick. Supply URLs for your tags and they become clickable. Thanks, Sadie. She says she loves that feature. Steven, V3 is too analytical for you. All I want to know is just visitor numbers and is my bounce rate up or down? V3 is only as analytical as you want it to be. I mean, so if you have WordPress sites, Steven, do you need to do updates on them? Like right now, I know that I have 99 sites that need a WordPress core update. How many sites do you have that need a WordPress core update? Do you know that information? Like, that's not an analytics thing. That's just like an ease of management. I have 5 plugins that need an update. I can look at what they are, look at what sites they're on, and I can do this. There, I just updated 5 plugins across 3 different sites with 1 click, right? As far as analytics, I mean, that's there if you want it. You don't have to have it. But as far as like a WordPress management tool, great. And then backups, for instance. Okay, I'm backing up. I'm not backing up as much as I should be, but I can set up backups for my sites across my entire network with a couple of clicks. And I can store it in Dropbox, FTP, Microsoft OneDrive, Amazon Cloud, Google Drive. I can choose my schedule of backups and choose the amount of backups I want to keep before I start deleting the oldest ones. That's not really an analytics thing. That's a keeping your network clean and organized thing. And I'll tell you this, guys, I haven't been hacked or anything since running everything on V3 because everything stays up to date. No, Bridget, we don't have Rackspace. We only have the ones that I just showed. So like, it's more than about analytics. I would say WordPress management is, I mean, before when I used to run my PDM, it was a freaking nightmare to keep everything updated and secure. I was getting hacked. I was getting lost. I'll tell you this too, IP networks, I'm still on them just because I don't want to move my sites, but I don't really recommend them anymore. And I'll tell you why. They keep dropping friggin' sites like flies, and my sites will drop, like they'll drop their name registrars for some reason. And then my sites will go down. And the only reason I even know that this is happening is because I get a notification from V3 by email, and inside of my dashboard, Lollipop Lust Call isn't running. And I'll come and I'll check, and it's always IP networks, and I'll log into IP networks. Everything is fine. I'll send them a ticket. I'll say, why is my site down? They'll be like, oh, sorry, you got to update to these new name servers. They don't tell me that. V3 is the thing that tells me that, which is crazy, right? Is there any way to use V3 for scheduling new articles? For example, can you get it to list your sites in the order of oldest and most recent posts? First, to make sure it helps prioritize keeping. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but I'll show you this. So let's go into this manage website. So, okay, so articles are basically posts or pages, right? So I can go into this particular site, click on the posts and pages tab, choose the post type. I only want to look at my posts, sort by date posted. And there's the articles that have been posted. Here's the information about the article, the author, if Project Supremacy is handling the search engine optimization schema, and if there's any scripts on the page like Facebook pixels and shit like that. I can quickly see for each site, whether it's a post or a page right here. You can create new posts, right? And schedule them as well from inside the blog. So if I wanted to create a new post, this is my new post. And then it's not quite the same as the WordPress editor, but it's pretty damn close, right? Article goes here, add images, use all this shit. Status, publish on tomorrow. Okay, create. Oh yeah, give it a URL. Right, here we go. So there's the way I just scheduled a post to show up tomorrow on this site. And then does that kind of answer your question? I'm not sure if that's what you were looking for. Sorry, I'm vaping. I'm Nick Vape. Okay. Yeah, Steven, just let me know if that answered your question. When you post as shown, where do the images get stored? WordPress, same as WordPress. Oh, cool. Alexander, I would like to repeat a feature request. Would it be possible to integrate an alert for an expired SSL certificate? As of now, I only accidentally found. Todd would be able to answer that better than I would. SSL certificate alerts. They come by email for me right now. I don't know if he might be getting his kids or something.
I'm here. What's the question?
He's asking if we could build SSL, like when your SSL certificates go down, if we could build notifications into V3, but I'm not sure how the notification originates.
It would have to be
enough to do a check.
It would have to be a cPanel connection.
Yeah.
There's probably, I can find out. There's probably in the cPanel API, you probably request any information regarding SSL certificates.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that I know for a fact, it's easy to check if your websites have an SSL certificate, whether it's, and if you know that your site does and it comes up fail, we could have it pop up in the notifications that your SSL failed. So, I mean, that's something we could definitely look at, Alex.
We use a Let's Encrypt, and it automatically renews itself, and typically there's never any problems. You can still go out and pay for it too. But and then it will expire on you, and then you have to pay again to renew it, of course. But Let's Encrypt SSL will always just renew it automatically. And you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to pay for it.
Bruce, how does PSv3 notify you when a site is down? So there's a couple of different notification types. I actually should have kept them. I always, so like literally guys, every day almost, I log into my site to V3, and the first thing I do is I look at this. Okay, I look at my dashboard. I'm like, okay, do I have any comments? I have one on. So this is, I don't know if that's real or not. Let's delete it. Okay, I look at my spam. I'm like, okay, I obviously have 165 spams that it found, so I'm going to delete those. I have 99 WordPress core updates. This is obviously to the new 5, the WordPress 5.0. I haven't done that yet, and I'm holding off on doing this just because I want to make sure everything's stable before I do it. I've updated, so obviously I have close to 200 sites, and only 99 need it. I've done it to 100, but I do this very methodically, specifically because I know that I want to make sure the sites I'm updating to WordPress don't break. So I take this slow. Once I know that 5.0 is great, everything's going to be fine, I'll just click this button, update, and do it on all 99. Okay, now to get back to answer your question, 3 types of updates that you're going to get. One is going to be your PSv3 connection. So the way the dashboard works is you install Project Supremacy, the plugin, right? So you download the plugin and you upload it to your WordPress site. And you can do that a couple different ways. I'm not going to go over that. You can see that in the training videos and shit. But once the plugin is installed on your site and activated, it now has communication with the dashboard. Okay. And if it loses communication with the dashboard for any reason, it will tell you. It'll say, it'll come up in a notification that Project Supremacy V3 is unable to communicate with the plugin. And that could be for a host of reasons, a whole bunch of reasons, but at least it's a notification that the communication is down. Could mean your website is down, could mean your domain's expired, could mean your registrar things need updating, could be a million different reasons, but all you need to do is get the notification that something went wrong. Okay, so for instance, let me do this. Deactivated is the same. This is a static tag, meaning that it's always there. These are sites that have lost the connection with Project Supremacy V3. So for instance, VM Logic lost it. Now, I got to go figure out why, right? So then I can go like this. Number 1, is the site live? So I'll open the site in a new window. Oh, look at that. Shit, I lost the domain. I didn't renew it. I just found, shit, that was expensive domain too. So I should have been paying attention because I just found out I lost one of my PBNs, which I paid probably $700 for. So that's one of the instances. Okay, chord progressions. Let's go check that. Why is that down? Well, I need to renew my hosting. You're seeing a suspended page. So you're seeing a host of different reasons. Android file transfer, same thing. I need to renew my hosting. Okay, but that's the thing. Once you get the notification, you can go in and start researching what's going on. And there'll be a host of different reasons. Sometimes the site will actually be working. The other thing is you can do this, like, okay, so bulk by, I lost this domain. Okay, I actually already knew that. It kind of sucks, but this one I know is on HostGator 3102, that specific site. Look at this, HostGator 3102, HostGator 3102, HostGator 3102. So I have a whole, I haven't paid my HostGator bill, and all these sites are down. They're not down. Well, they are down, but V3 is saying I can't communicate with the plugin. There's a problem. I should go check it out. And I could literally rectify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 problems by just going and updating my hosting billing, right? And I would get a notification, number 1 here saying your connection is severed, and number 2 by email. So I'll show you that. Memberships. I'll load this and then bring it over to you guys. Okay, where is it? There it is. Okay, so in my email folder, uptime alerts. So stop childhood obesity. I get an email saying this site with, hosted here, registered here. It tells you the tags, makes them clickable, and it gives you an explanation of what your website is detected as offline, meaning our server failed to retrieve the response from your website. So that means go check it out. So number 1, go to your website. Number 2, if the website's live, then there's nothing wrong with your register or hosting, obviously. Maybe just go refresh the connection. But you'll get a notification right here, and you'll get a notification by email if you want it. And I'll show you where that is. If you go to account settings, because you can shut off the email notifications, but why would you do that? email notifications. So that, like I said, there's 3 types. Website deactivations, meaning plugin can't communicate with the dashboard. Project Supremacy v3 can't communicate with the dashboard. This one was a failed update. Yeah, right, failed updates. So when you're trying to update your WordPress core, any of your plugins or any of your themes, if the update fails for any reason, you'll get a notification. And then backup restoring. When you set a backup and it's done, it'll notify you. And those all come right here, and to email. And if you want to shut them off, you can turn them off. See, I should like have all these on. I always want to be notified of everything. How often are the websites being checked for being down? 24-hour schedule. Based also on the time you installed it. So we don't check everybody's website at the same time. If you install it like right now, 2:30 on Valentine's Day, at 2:30, 24 hours from now, it'll check it again. And that way we're load balancing everybody's checks. We're not checking all the sites at the same time. It's definitely based on when you install it. So as people install things at different times, we're load checking at different times, which reduces our load and why things run fast. Yeah, Stephen, we can do that. I mean, really, he's asking me not to mention this comment, but I do want to comment on it so you can hear my reply. Just private message me about that. We can talk about that. You should know, though. You should know what sites you're posting on, what sites you're not. But you can, to get more detail, just PM me about that. Okay, so we're at an hour and a half. No new questions. Anybody else? Anybody see anything that they had no idea that this did? Nobody. Let me go see who's attentive. I can see if you're looking at the screen or if you're surfing for porn right now, actually. Okay, good. Variety of ways. No, well, I'm personally not. This is something I'll admit to you guys right now. I don't run an SEO agency anymore. I do very little client marketing anymore because the software, like Todd and I's software business, is so big now, and we have so many products. I literally need all my time to either be working on your guys' member updates or your member websites, to work with the developers to build the products. I literally don't do very much SEO anymore, which kind of is a bummer, to be honest, because when we first started, I was doing so much SEO. I had all these great examples of things that were working or not working for you guys, but I don't really have that anymore because I'm not doing it. But to monetize, like I just resold a printer repair site I built to a guy. And it was just sitting there. I was like, I might as well make money with it. So I reached out to a guy. I was like, you want to buy this? And he's like, yeah, okay. Stephen Last, warning for websites not up. I guess you're saying that you didn't know that that's existing, but it is. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes when we're doing support, guys, and I log into someone's dashboard to go support them, I see like it's crazy. One thing I'll tell you is if you have a lot of sites and you're on V3 and you go to your dashboard and you have like a bazillion updates needed, just update your stuff. There's a reason that plugins release updates, and typically it's either improvement or security, and security is a big one. Like I know that there's an article that's been floating around recently that a super popular plugin, I think it was Simple Social Share, had a vulnerability in it where people could access the WP admin of your site, change your email and password, and take over your site. Bye-bye. How do you recover from that? unless you like know your way around cPanel and MySQL and shit like that. But when someone takes over your shit, that's terrible. And the reason typically why they're able to do it is because you're not updating your shit. And there's no excuse for that when you have V3, because it's literally a second to update. Like 200 sites, guys. I'm managing 200 sites with like a minute a day of just logging in, seeing what's up, and clicking. Although I am super to blame for losing that domain. I've just been busy. You'll have to see what the finance minister has. Wolfgang's almost ready to upgrade. Well, save yourself 5 coffees a week and get Project Supremacy V3 instead. It'll do a lot more for your business and your health. I don't know if you're a coffee drinker, but just look at something in your life where you can save 37 bucks. It's probably better for you. Philip says, I have a bit of personal overwhelm. My brain is in the why haven't I done this in that mode. Yeah. You know what though? That's totally normal, Philip. Like there's a million things that I want to do every day and that just don't get done because just life gets in the way, and don't feel too bad about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has those feelings. But with V3, I can understand like being like, oh my God, this is so good, or this is so easy to do things like that part. I would at least try to get into the habit of logging into V3, checking out your sites, making sure shit's updated. I know, maybe put aside another hour of day to like build some new schema because it's going to increase your rankings, stuff like that. Check out the project planner to help you optimize your sites. I don't know if you guys have really seen the project planner a lot, but it's just such a good tool. Every time I use the project planner, I get this like renewed sense of like how amazing it is. So for instance, like with V3, Todd and I are actually about to raise the price, not for you guys, but for everybody else that's coming in. So and we're trying to like sell it, say less about it. Like I was saying, like when we tell everybody about all the features, they get overwhelmed. So basically, I was doing this plan, this front end plan, where it's like, okay, we have a bunch of different pages for a bunch of the different features that Project Supremacy has. And I want to optimize and optimize these for Google and rank them for Google. So I started a plan. So you can see like the schema page, WP manage page, the home page, the WordPress cloning page, all these things, pull in all these keywords that I want to rank for each of these things, and then start optimizing them, right? You can see I'm not even done yet. I started it, but like as I'm building this shit out, I'm just like, this thing is so freaking good. Like it is literally, and I'll tell you this, guys, I've never in my life of marketing online seen a dashboard for on-page optimization. Every single page and post in your site can be optimized, and you can look at the optimization of it from one dashboard while also looking at the keywords you want to rank for, their volumes, their metrics, and your current ranking for them. And the best part about this is it's backwards compatible, meaning if I make an update right here, the actual page gets updated too. And then if I'm for some reason working on the page and I update it on the page, it'll backwards update the plan as well. Like, so I no longer do any SEO optimization in the post or the page itself, which is where most people are still doing. 99.999% of people are optimizing their sites like this. Okay, I have all these pages, or I have all these posts on my blog, and I go edit, and I have some sort of SEO plugin installed, probably fucking Yoast, right? And so I'll go in and I'll do my H1, which this is an H1. I'll do my URL, I'll write my content, I'll go into my Yoast and I'll do my title and my description, and I'll check shit. And then I go to the next page and I do it again. And I go to the next page and I do it again. But then I want to do some keyword research, like, oh, okay, I got this awesome optimization, or maybe I'm doing keyword research first. I'm like, which keywords should I try to rank for? And so I'm going to go load up a keyword research tool. I'm going to start digging into keyword research and then looking at their competition metrics. Am I going to be able to rank for this? Does it have enough traffic? Does it have enough search volume? Does it have enough CPC? So I've got these other tools open, and then I'm over here, and then I'm over there, and then I'm on this page, and then I'm on that page. Fuck that. One page, everything you need. Keyword research, competition research, ranking, optimization, all in one page, even a keyword cloud to tell you what keyword. So like for this page, for instance, no, let's go to this one, the schema one. Okay. So these are the keywords that I want to rank for. Okay, and I did the keyword research right here, pulled in a bunch of keywords that I know I want to focus on. I know what their search volumes are. I know what their CPCs. I know what the general competition looks like. I know where I'm ranking for them right now. I know what this page is using for a URL description in H1, right? And then I can even open up the what do you call it? What do you call this goddamn thing again? I forget what the word is. The keyword cloud. So I know the important, based on the size and the volume of the keywords that I'm trying to target, what the important ones are to work into my optimization. I do it all in one place, just on this. And this tool alone is like worth the money. Once again, I know I'm so biased, guys. I'm like obviously so biased, but I truly believe it, because like when I was doing SEO, that's how this tool got built. Oh, I wish I had a tool that did this, and I wish I had a tool that did that, and now we do. So I know, like, I would have paid $37 a month just for the project planner alone, but you get all the other features. So that's why I constantly say that. I think it's worth it. Steven says, I may be very critical, but I really do like V3. I think V3 in truth is the very best of its kind, and the schema makes it a fantastic value. Thank you, Steven. That's really what we're going for. Bruce Nelkin, too much to do as always. Yeah, for sure. I get that. I have a freaking boatload of things to do all day, and now I have a baby and a broken dog too. Do I still use start.me? Yes, I do. So start.me is just to show you guys, because I hook into so many things. Like I visit a lot of pages very often. So there's a plugin or a start page. If you go to start.me, you can create your own little bookmarks folder on your homepage, and then also have separate tabs. Like for instance, all my API keys that I use, I put them on a separate tab. So when I'm on webinars, I'm not showing them, because I used to show them. I used to use a different one and it would show, but now I can do that. Crypto stuff, and my API keys, calendars, and news, and Bitcoin, all kinds of shit. I love it. It's a really cool tool. It's free. Walt, I was away from my computer for a while, but I'll ask in case it wasn't asked. What WordPress plugins do you require on all your sites? Project Supremacy V3 required. And it depends on the type of site too, which actually brings me to a feature of V3. So when I build a new site, for instance, let's say you're starting with a new site, the very first thing I do is I put Project Supremacy V3 on it. I use V3 to quickly do a quick setup of it, like to erase all the posts, pages, delete all the shit plugins, everything with one click. I use the V3 builder to do that. And then now I need to set it up the way I want it. Everything does bring me to a V3 feature, Greg, because I've done so much SEO in my life that if there was anything that I saw that I wanted in V3, we built it in. So literally V3 is built out of process, like personal process. Back to where I was. So in your account settings in V3, you can go to my plugins and my themes. And what you can do here is, if there's certain plugins that you use all the time, you can actually download them, whether they're plugins that are on WordPress or whether they're just plugins that you purchased, you can actually upload them and save them here, right? So like, and there's a lot of shit in here that I don't use anymore and I need to clean this up, but you can save them here. And then what you can do, which is even cooler, is you can start grouping them. So for instance, I can create a plugin group. So say for PBNs, I'm going to create like every time I want to set up a private blog network, I'm going to create a plugin group called PBN. I'm going to give the color, I don't know, like green. And then I'm going to say, I always need, okay, let's cancel that. I always need this plugin, this plugin, this plugin, this plugin, this group of plugins. So then I'll save that group, right? So now I have a group. So now what I do is I go, when I want to set up my website, okay, I can go into my website management, and I'll show you two ways of doing this because it's fucking awesome. Once you set up groups, I can go to plugins, and I'm like, okay, I need to add the plugins I want. Now I can add a group. So my PBN group, I want to install my PBN group of plugins, and then I click upload, and it uploads those plugins to this site with one click, rather than me saying this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I just create a group, and then I upload it. Now, the even nicer thing, let's say I go out and I buy 10 new PBNs, or I buy 10 new money sites, or whatever. I have 10 new sites, right? So the first thing I go is I add my sites, I add my tags, right? I go in and I create the tags for the site so that they're organized. Now what I do is I go to actions, I go to switch view, and I create a tag. So I'm going to say like PBN. I only want to look at my PBN sites in my switch view, right? And then I will select all of the sites. So it'll select all those sites, and then I go to this. I say, okay, I need to upload a certain number of plugins. So to these 9 websites, I want to change the plugins. I'm going to go upload plugin. I'm going to go to my plugins. I'm going to select a group. I'm going to say PBNs, and there. What I'm doing now is I'm uploading 4 plugins to 9 websites with 1 click. See, like, the thought process behind that? I know I need to do this shit manually some way, but it's like with V3, I've like created a way to do it really quick. And it's just like a little bit of setup at the start, create tags for your sites, create groups for your plugins, and now you can upload multiple plugins to multiple sites with 1 click. I can even go through here and look at the plugins that are currently installed, whether they're active or not too. Like there's all kinds of shit, like the crazy good shit. So I can see Google XML Sitemaps is on these 3 sites and it's activated. I can see Spider Spanker Nuke is, oh, Usenet 2, I need to go activate it over there. So I'll click on it, click, boom, click activate, right? There's just so many little things, guys, that you probably don't know. And that's why it's good to attend like these webinars, because as people are asking questions, I'm going through shit and I'm able to show you stuff like this. Now, I don't even know if I answered the initial question anymore. Kind of went on such a long tangent there. Hopefully I did. I hope there is a training and a webinar just about that. I don't know what that was in reference to anymore, Bridget, but remember that all the past trainings that we've done. Okay, so including this webinar. The cool thing about this particular webinar, guys, when you go to Supremacy Digital and you want to see the replay for this, okay, and you go to webinars and you go to Supremacy webinars, and you go in, okay, so all the Supremacy products, and then Project Supremacy V3 webinars, okay, including today's webinar. Remember that you have a search function. So this webinar that we're on right now is going to be uploaded to this thing, and you're going to be able to say, oh yeah, that guy was talking about like grouping tags. So you'll be able to put in the keyword tag, and look at that. Go look at the specific webinars and the specific time in the webinar where I'm talking about tagging, how to organize and identify types of sites, how to create tags, tag ideas, and demo, tag filtering, switching the view, the thing that I just did, types of sites, how to set up a no index and a no follow for tags, default tags, not tagging in is like, it's probably already there, Bridget, but more will be added. Bruce says, besides me being biased, I know how this shit works. Yeah, I do. And if I get back to doing SEO and learning more and shit like that, which I really hope to do, more stuff will get added. Oh yeah, that was what it was. Greg says everything brings me to a V3 feature. Everything does bring me to a V3 feature. And I'll tell you this, guys, I use V3 for literally everything now. I mean, there's nothing that it can't do. Well, I can't check SSL, but it will. What's on the road for V3? Okay, there's definitely plans for updates to V3. One of them, and I don't know how easy or hard this is going to be, but one of the things that we were looking at, and part of the reason that we added Ahrefs and Majestic data, is we want to give you guys the ability to trade links with other people that are using V3, like a link sharing thing, because getting new links is tough, right? So it's like, all right, now you have to think about it in terms of like a single site. What do I need to see from a single site to make that site worth it? It's got to have good metrics, it's got to have good backlinks, you know, it's got to be old, it's got to have all this data. So what we want to do is be able to have all that data in V3 for your own sites, and you're responsible to upload that data. But then once it's there, say I want to share this in the marketplace. So then you click a little, we'll have like something like a check mark or something like this. Isn't worked out yet, guys, but it's coming, so that you could supply your site to other people in exchange to be able to link. You want a link from someone else, well then give them a link, right? But you have to supply all the data. So then what we'll have is like a marketplace of all these websites and you'll be able to only access the marketplace. Well, we'll think about all this shit, but you'll be able to access it if you've supplied, like if you're giving links, you can get links. So then you can go through and see all this data for not only your sites but everyone else's sites, and then request link exchanges. Say like, I'll trade you a link, or we might even have like a marketplace where you can buy links if people want to sell links on their sites, stuff like that. Really cool shit. There was other stuff I forget, but like,
oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that a few times. Trying to work it out. PVMs are still, links from other sites still work very, very well. It's, always a matter of, finding the high quality stuff, knowing the metrics and things like Herc was just mentioning. So, yeah, that would be a very good, very cool tool. Just going to take some time to work out some details, and then obviously programming it in, which I don't know. I think programming is typically the shortest time. It's understanding what exactly it is that we're trying to do, and then not being so off base that we got to start from scratch again, which doesn't happen very often, but it certainly can. So very cool. What do you guys think about all of the great stuff Herc showed you today? Did you guys learn anything? All you V3 users, did you find some little corners of the software that you're going to start playing with now? Yeah, cool. Thought so.
Steven laughed. He's like, "What the heck? I really can't see an excuse anymore not to be buying it." Good. That's how we want you to feel.
Yeah, it's Herc said it earlier in the webinar. It's so funny that whenever we present this to people, and it does so many amazing things, like it just, I don't know, they get a brain freeze and then don't do anything. But if we talk about one specific area that does something really cool, it's like, holy crap, man, that's so awesome. Where can I buy it? It's funny.
I know, and like we literally, guys, like there's two parts to V3, right? There's the plugin, which is so full of features. Like there's so many features. I didn't even cover link management. I didn't cover the rescue center. I didn't cover reviews. I didn't cover SEO settings, 301 redirects, automatic redirects. Like there's so much shit I didn't cover that is so cool, because I just don't have enough time to cover it all. And that's just the plugin. Then you have the freaking app. You have the central control. Like it's just fucking crazy for $37 a month. Like we're undercharging.
Yeah, I think we've got about over 3 years in development on Project Supremacy, starting from V2, which was, a great plugin in its own right, and then we kind of scaled that into V3, and we just went crazy with just so many kick-ass features. It's very useful, very handy. So if you don't have it, and you have a few sites that you want to watch over, it's not that expensive. I don't think it's very expensive. I think it's a great price.
It's not, considering what people sell single features of this for, and people go nuts over it. Like people that are, oh man, I love Schema app. It's the best thing I've ever seen. Oh, I love it. I was like, well, you're paying $97 for something. We do literally everything for a third of the price, but you get like 100 times more features. But they just don't know, right?
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we need to run now. I've got an engagement here in the next few minutes, so I got to get to that. And we've been on for a good 2 hours, so
holy shit,
we don't want too long of a recording. 2 hours is, a good enough. It's enough time for one webinar, and I'm sure Herc probably needs to go take a nap after all that, after everything that he just did. That was great, man. Hell, I learn a lot every time you go through it. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't realize that was there. And sometimes our dev team will just put stuff in and then show us, hey, look what we did here. And we're like, oh wow, that's cool, because they're really, really understanding, Project Supremacy like the back of their hand, and they understand, users' needs, and they completely understand WordPress back and forth 100%. And yeah, it's pretty cool whenever they come up with their own ideas and toss them in there. I can't tell you how many times we lay out a roadmap for them to do some stuff, and then I read the what's been done list. And I'm like, where did that come from? Who said to do that? And they're like, oh, we just thought it'd be cool. I'm like, yeah, it is. Nice call. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed all that. And like Herc said, be on the lookout, for your go-to webinar emails, our emails, messengers. We try to let you guys know whenever we're going to come on and do some talking, do some training. Every now and then, we come across some really cool apps and softwares that we feel, can, build your business. I think we've said it many times in the past. You're only as good as your best tools, right? When you're building something, you don't go build a house with just a hammer and a few nails. I mean, it takes the proper tools to get the house built great and sturdy. And add on to it, or something like that. So every now and then we do come across some other guys in our industry that are also software developers or just experts at doing something more so than we are, and we certainly can't train you on every single aspect of online marketing, and we try to stay focused as best we can on our software products. And then every now and then, obviously, we come up with some pretty good stuff too. As Pixel Scout is out there available, I don't know how many of you guys on the call right now, but I'm sure a lot of you have been exposed to Pixel Scout. If you haven't been exposed to that Pixel Scout and you want to learn more about it, I don't know, Herc, do we have something that we could show them on that, or should they just hit the support desk?
I think they should hit the replay for Pixel Scout. I could show you that if you guys want to know what it is. Does anybody not know?
Yeah, am I just beating a dead horse here?
Does anybody not know about Pixel Scout?
We're pretty excited about this one. It's not necessarily, SEO kind of thing. It's actually a lot easier to get clients and service clients than it is doing SEO. But anyway, it's right there, pixelscout.io/webinar. Go check it out if you haven't already. It doesn't cost a lot. It's a pretty cool software. There's also some really cool training about how to set up Facebook ads and how to get clients. And there's also some advanced training on how to get leads too down the road. But this is a great prospecting software. Basically just goes out and scans Google for companies that are not using retargeting. And I'm sure many of you on the call are familiar with retargeting, and if you have a website that sells products and services, you should definitely be retargeting. That's the best money spent, is to advertise to people who have visited your site but did not buy. There's just nothing better than that in online advertising dollars, because we all wish we had 100% conversion every time someone visited our site. They bought it, but they don't, right? Your conversion is less than 10% usually. So you retarget them, you follow them around, you say, hey, knock, knock, or you want to come back and check this out again. You know how it works. So this is a great piece of software that goes out and finds those companies that are not retargeting. And it's the perfect pitch to explain to them what I just said, that the best money is spent in online advertising is retargeting to a warm audience. So that's Pixel Scout. I see one more big question here. All right, Greg, you know what? That's a very long comment, and I won't keep everybody here while I read that. I'm going to try and copy and paste that over here to me. I'll read it and
just send it to us on Facebook.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks again, Herc. Magnificent job of training on V3. Thanks to everyone that joined us. Thanks for all the newcomers that came and stopped by. Hope you enjoyed it as well, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.